Hello, students, and today we are reading chapter number 6, First Flight, class 10th book, The 100 Days 2. अगर आपने पार्ट 1 नहीं भी रीड किया है तो आप मेरा पहले वो वीडियो देख सकते हैं। पार्ट 2 में बेसिकली हमें पता चलेगा कि क्या हुआ है वांडा के साथ। हमें अभी तक ये पता चला है कि वांडा फर्स्ट आ गई है, राइट? शी इज फर्स्ट इन द ड्राइंग कॉम्पिटिशन, जहां सब लोग सोच रहे थे कि नहीं, पेगी जीतेगी। नाउ लेट्स कंटिन्यू। While the class was circling the room, अब उन्होंने बोला था कि आप क्लासरूम नंबर 12 और 13 पे चले जाओ, वहां सबकी वो ड्राइंग शीट्स टंगी हुई है एंड यू कैन सी। तो सब सर्कल करके रूम में देख रहे हैं। फ्रॉम द प्रिंसिपल ऑफिस ब्रॉट मिस मेसन अ नोट। प्रिंसिपल ऑफिस से एक नोट आया मिस मेसन का। मिस मेसन read it several times and studied it thoughtfully for a while। और पता नहीं, एक प्रिंसिपल ऑफिस से जो नोट है उनके हाथ में, वो बार बार मिस मेसन जो टीचर है वो उनको उसको पढ़ रही है बड़े ध्यान से, ठीक है। एंड और वो कुछ समझ रही है, कुछ सोच रही है उसको पढ़ने के बाद। देन शी clapped her hands and फिर for attention she just clapped her hands and said, attention class, everyone back to their seat। तो सबको बोलती है चलो अब आप बैठ जाओ। When the shuffling of feet had stopped and the room was still and quiet, तो जब सब चुपचाप बैठ गए, Miss Mason said, I have a letter from Wanda's father that I want to read to you। तो वांडा के फादर से हमारे पास एक लेटर है जो मैं अब आपको रीड करके बताने वाली हूँ। Miss Mason stood there a moment and the silence in the room grew tense and expectant। The teacher adjusted her glasses slowly and deliberately। तो और अटेंशन को वो करने के लिए टीचर ने भी अपने ग्लास को, स्पेक्स को हिलाया। डेलिबरेटली का क्या मतलब होता है बेटा? जानबूझकर, ओके, पर्पसली। Her manner indicated that what was coming, और उसके मैनर से समझ में आ रहा था the teacher is actually angry, okay, she was not happy। Her manner indicated, okay, this letter from Wanda's father was a matter of great importance। Everybody listened closely as Miss Mason read the brief note। छोटा सा नोट लिखा है, look at the note, you know dear teacher, my Wanda will not come to your school anymore, Jake also। Now we move away to big city। No more holler pollock, no more ask why funny name। तो अब हॉलर पॉलक इस तरह से उसको कोई नहीं चिढ़ाएगा और कोई और फनी नेम भी नहीं। Plenty of funny names in the big city। Yours truly, Jen Petronsky। और वो कहना चाहते हैं कि बड़ी सिटी में उनके जैसे और भी बहुत लोग हैं, तो मेरी डॉटर को कोई भी बुली नहीं करेगा क्योंकि वैसे बहुत सारे लोग होंगे। A deep silence met the reading of this letter। Miss Mason took off her glasses, blew on them and wiped them on her soft white handkerchief। तो उन्होंने अपने चश्मे उतारे, फूंक मारी और उसको फिर वाइप किया, ठीक है। And then she put them on again and looked at the class। When she spoke, her voice was very low। और जब वो बोल रही है तो उनकी वॉइस बहुत लो है। I'm sure that none of the boys and girls in room 13 would purposely and deliberately hurt anyone's feelings because his or her name happened to be a long, unfamiliar one। तो वो कहती है मुझे ऐसा लगता है तुम में से कोई बच्चा रूम 13 में इस वक्त है, उसने ऐसा नहीं किया होगा। I prefer to think that what was said in thoughtlessness। तो मुझे लगता है जो भी बोला गया है उसके फादर ने, उन्होंने बिना सोचे समझे बोला है, क्योंकि तुम लोग तो किसी को हर्ट नहीं कर सकते। I know that all of you feel the way I do। That time is a very unfortunate thing to have happened, unfortunate and sad hope, and I want you all to think about it। और मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप सब इसके बारे में सोचें, ये जो हुआ है, वो जो लड़की चली गई। The first period was a study period। Maddie tried to prepare her lessons, but she could not put her mind on her work, okay? Because Maddie knew she had a very sick feeling, okay? She had a very sick feeling in the bottom of her stomach। बहुत अजीब सा उसको stomach में लग रहा है feeling, oh no, ये क्या हो गया, she's feeling bad। True, she had not enjoyed listening to Peggy ask Wanda how many dresses she had in her closet, but she had said nothing। हालांकि उसने चिढ़ाया नहीं पेगी के साथ मिलके कि उसके पास कितने कपड़े हैं, कितनी ड्रेसेस हैं, मगर उसने उसको रोका भी नहीं। तो she was feeling guilty about it। She had stood by silently and that was just as bad as what Peggy had done। और वो भी उतना ही गलत है जितना पेगी ने किया, वर्स है बल्कि, कि तुम चुप होके दूसरे के साथ दूसरे को बुली होते हुए देख रहे हो। शी वॉज कावर्ड। तो वो बोल रही है कि मैडी एक कावर्ड थी, डरपोक थी। एटलीस्ट पेगी हैडंट कंसिडर्ड दे वर बीइंग मीन, बट शी, अच्छा, क्योंकि देखो पेगी ने ये रियलाइज ही नहीं किया था कि हम मीन है और हम गलत कर रहे हैं, बट मैडी ने ये चीज रियलाइज कर ली थी और उसको पता था, एंड स्टिल शी केप्ट क्वाइट, शी डिड नॉट डू एनीथिंग अबाउट इट। मैडी हैड थॉट दे वर डूइंग रॉन्ग, शी कुड पुट हरसेल्फ इन वांडा's shoes, वो एम्पैथेटिक हो सकती थी। Goodness, wasn't there anything she could do? If only she could tell Wanda she hadn't meant to hurt her feelings. She turned around and stole a glance at Peggy. But Peggy did not look up. She seemed to be studying hard. Peggy को वो देखती है एकदम चुपके से कि वो क्या कर रही है। जब मैडी is feeling guilty, तो वो देखती है कि वो बिल्कुल busy है पढ़ने में। Well, whether Peggy felt badly or not, Maddie had to do something. She had to find Wanda Petronsky. Maybe she had not yet moved away. Maybe Peggy would climb the heights with her, and they would tell Wanda she had won the contest, that she was smart and the 100 dresses were beautiful. मगर मैडी ये सब सोच रही है कि मगर मैं जाना चाहती हूँ, कुछ करना चाहती हूँ इसके बारे में, है ना? तो हम वांडा को ढूंढ सकते हैं, हम उसको बता सकते हैं कि तू कॉन्टेस्ट जीत गई और तेरी ड्रेसेस कितनी सुंदर हैं. She wants to do everything to make it correct now. When school was dismissed in the afternoon, Peggy said with pretended casualness, "Hey, let's go and see if that kid has left town or not." तो पेगी ने बोला ऐसे कि चल देख के आते हैं वो गई कि नहीं. So Peggy had the same idea. Peggy का भी same idea था. Maddie glowed. Maddie खुश हो गई. Peg was really all right. The two girls hurried out of the building up the street toward Boggins Heights, the part of town that wore such a forbidding air on this kind of a November afternoon, drizzly, damp, and dismal. बहुत ही वेट एंड सैड वर्ड है कि इस तरह का एटमॉस्फेयर है उस टाइम पे, और वहाँ के लोगों का वही एटमॉस्फेयर हमेशा रहता है. Well, at least said Peggy gruffly, I never did call her a foreigner or make fun of her name. I never thought she had the sense to know we were making fun of her anyway. और वो कहती है कि मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था कि उसको पता है कि हम उसका मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं, है ना? और मैं उसको ऐसे कोई फॉरेनर नहीं समझती थी. I thought she was too dumb. मुझे लगा वो बहुत बुद्धू है, उसे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. And gee, look how she can draw. और देखो कितना सुंदर ड्रॉ कर सकती है, कितनी डिफरेंट है वो जो मैं सोचती थी. मेडी कुछ से नथिंग, मेडी कुछ नहीं बोल पाई क्योंकि मेडी को पता था कि हम गलत कर रहे हैं. बट पेगी डिड नॉट रियलाइज, उसको ये भी नहीं समझ आ रहा था कि वांडा इज फीलिंग बैड. ओके, all she hoped was that they could find Wanda. She wanted to tell her that they were sorry they had picked on her मतलब purposely उसको तंग किया, and how wonderful the whole school thought she was. And please not to move away and everybody would be nice. She and Peggy would fight anybody who was not nice. और वो उसको प्रोटेक्ट करना चाहते थे कि हाँ, अब कोई तो ऐसा गलत करेगा तो हम लड़ेंगे उससे, बट तुम मत जाओ. The two girls hurried on. They hoped to get to the top of the hill before dark. और तुरंत तुरंत चढ़ना चाहते थे अंधेरे से पहले. I think that's where the Petrovskis live, said Maddie, pointing to a little white house. Wisps of old glass stuck up here and there along the pathway like thin kittens. और यहाँ वहाँ एक व्हाइट हाउस की तरफ इशारा करते हैं कि यार वो घर है उसका, और घास घूस लगी हुई है रास्ते में थोड़ी बहुत इधर उधर. The house and its sparse little yard looked shabby but clean. जो वो हाउस है और उसका छोटा सा यार्ड जो है ना, वो बहुत ही शैबी है, मतलब नॉट प्रॉपरली केप्ट है मगर साफ है. It reminded Maddie of Wanda's one dress, her faded blue cotton dress, shabby but clean. Shabby क्यों? क्योंकि वो आयन नहीं होती थी ना, तो shabby थी मगर एकदम साफ रहती थी. वैसे ही उसका घर था. ये एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन आता है, ठीक है, उसके घर और उसकी ड्रेस के बारे में. There was not a sign of life about the house. Peggy knocked firmly on the door, but there was no answer. She and Maddie went around to the backyard and knocked there. Still, there was no answer. There was no doubt about it. The Petronskis were gone. How could they ever make amends? Petronskis जा चुके थे, तो अब वो amend कैसे कर सकते थे? चीजों को ठीक कैसे कर सकते थे? Make amends. They turned slowly and made their way back down the hill. और फिर वो लोग वापस आ जाते हैं. Well, anyway, said Peggy, she's gone now. So what can we do? Besides, when I was asking her about all her dresses, she probably was getting good ideas for her drawings. तो वो अच्छा सोचती है, कहती है अच्छी बात है, अब तो वो जा चुके हैं, मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकती. पर एक बात तुम सोचो कि मैं जब उससे ड्रेसेस के बारे में पूछती थी, तो इसीलिए शायद उसको आइडियाज आए होंगे इन ड्राइंग करने की। शी माइट नॉट इवन हैव वन द कॉन्टेस्ट अदरवाइज। और अगर मैं ऐसा नहीं करती, तो वो तो कॉन्टेस्ट भी नहीं जीत सकती थी, नहीं जीत पाती। Well, anyway, said Peggy, she's gone now. ये पढ़ लिया हमने. She might not even have won the contest otherwise. Maddie turned this idea carefully over in her head. For if there were anything in it, she would not have to feel so badly. But that night she could not go to get to sleep. वो दोनों सोचते हैं कि हाँ चलो यही सोच के हम खुश रहे, मगर मैडी कंफर्टेबल नहीं होती बेटा. She thought about Wanda and her faded blue dress and the little house she had lived in. And she thought of the glowing picture those 100 dresses made, all lined up in the classroom. At last, Maddie sat up in bed and pressed her forehead tight in her hand and really thought this was the hardest thinking she had ever done. After a long time, she reached an important conclusion. और बहुत बहुत सोचती है, और इतना सोचना तो कभी उसने लाइफ में नहीं किया था, तो उसको एक कंक्लूजन मिलता है. एंड व्हाट इज दैट कंक्लूजन? शी वाज नेवर गोइंग टू स्टैंड बाय एंड से नथिंग. अब वो कभी लाइफ में चुप नहीं रहेगी. ठीक है, अगर उसके सामने कुछ गलत हो रहा होगा तो शी विल स्पीक अप. If she ever heard anybody picking on someone because they were funny looking or because they had strange name, she'd speak up, even if it meant losing Peggy's friendship. She had no way of making things right with Wanda, but from now on, she would never make anybody else that unhappy again. और फिर वो अपने आप से प्रॉमिस करती है, कंक्लूजन पे आती है कि अब मैं ऐसा कभी नहीं करूंगी. इवन अगर पेगी मुझे छोड़ देगी, है ना, मेरी फ्रेंडशिप टूट जाएगी तो टूट जाए, डजंट मैटर, बट आई एम नॉट गोना स्टैंड लाइक दैट एंड किसी और के साथ ऐसा होते हुए नहीं देखूंगी. On Saturday, Mary spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wanda Petronsky. और फिर अब बोलो Wanda को letter लिख रहे हैं. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Wanda she had won. They told her how pretty her drawings were, and they asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her new teacher. They had meant to say they were sorry. Actually, वो लोग sorry बोलना चाहते थे. यहाँ पे एग्जाम में again question आता है. But वो लोग करते क्या है? But it ended up with their just writing a friendly letter. But वो sorry बोलने की भी हिम्मत नहीं कर पाते. और एक friendly letter लिखते हैं. The kind they would have written to any good friend, and they signed it with lots of X's for love. They mailed the letter to Boggins Heights, writing please forward on the envelope. है ना, तो ताकि फॉरेन में पता है न्यू एड्रेस पता होता है, तो जब वो बॉगिन्स हाइट्स के एड्रेस पे पहुंचेगा तो वहां से ऑटोमेटिकली दे विल फॉरवर्ड इट. Days passed and there was no answer. But the letter did not come back, so maybe Wanda had received it. अच्छा, पीछे आपका भी एड्रेस होता है अगर वापस आ जाए. Perhaps she was so hurt and angry she was not going to answer. You could not blame her. Weeks went by and still Wanda did not answer. Peggy had begun to forget the whole business, and Maddie put herself to sleep at night making speeches about Wanda, defending her from great crowds of girls who were trying to tease her with. तो पैगी तो नॉर्मल सोने लग गई थी, भूल गई थी सब कुछ, और मैडी रात को ऐसे कुछ कुछ स्पीचेस लिख रही थी जैसे वो वांडा को बचा रही है ना. शी वाज स्टिल स्ट्रगलिंग विद इट लिटिल बिट, defending her, How many dresses have you got? And before Wanda could press her lips together in a tight line, the way she did before answering, Maddie would cry out, stop! Then everybody would feel ashamed the way she used to feel. और इस तरह से वो बचा रही है, वो ये सब करती है रात को सोने से पहले. Now it was Christmas time and there was snow on the ground. The Christmas bells and a small tree decorated the classroom. On the last day of school before the holidays, the teacher showed the class a letter she had received that morning. You remember Wanda Petronsky, the gifted little artist who won the drawing contest? Well, she has written me and I'm glad to know where she lives because now I can send her medal. I want to read her letter to you. The class sat up with a sudden interest and listened intently. मतलब बहुत ध्यान से. Dear Miss Mason, how are you and room 13? Her room. Please tell the girls they can keep those 100 dresses because in my new house, I have 100 new ones, all lined up in my closet. I'd like that girl Peggy to have the drawing of the green dress with the red trimming. and her friend Maddie to have the blue one. For Christmas, I missed that school, and my new teacher does not equalize with you. That she's not like you. Merry Christmas to you and everybody. Yours truly, Wanda Petronsky. On the way home from school, Maddie and Peggy held their drawings very carefully. उन दोनों ने वो drawings ले ली. All the houses and wreaths. Wreaths, you know, ऐसे गोल वो जो फूलों का बनाते हैं. ऐसे गोल होता है पूरा फूल और पत्तियों से रेत करते हैं उनको बुना हुआ होता है एंड होली इन द विंडोज ये बड़ा ही क्रिसमस को सेलिब्रेट करते हैं तो सबके घरों के बाहर ऐसे गोल फूलों का आपको गुलदस्ता दिखता है इस तरह का रेत होता है गोल ओके आई विल शो यू outside the grocery store hundreds of Christmas trees were stacked and in the window candy peppermint sticks and cornucopias of shiny transparent paper were strung decorative containers है ना और इसमें flowers और fruits होते हैं. The air smelled like Christmas and light shining everywhere reflected different colors on the snow. Boy, said Peggy, this shows she really likes us. It shows she got our letter and this is her way of boy मतलब लड़के को नहीं बोल रही है ऐसे बोलते हैं इंग्लिश में oh boy oh wow ऐसे इस तरह का एक्सप्रेशन है ये ठीक है I hope so said Maddie sadly. She felt sad because she knew she would never see the little tight-lipped Polish girl again and couldn't ever really make things right between them. She went home and she pinned her drawing over a torn place in the pink flowered wallpaper in the bedroom. और उसने अपने torn place मतलब फटी हुई जगह पे. The shabby room came alive from the brilliancy of the colors. Maddie sat down on a bed and looked at the drawing. She had stood by and said nothing. But Wanda had been nice to her anyway. But still Wanda was nice to her, right? Tears blurred her eyes. Maddie's feeling really bad, and she gazed for a long time at the picture. वो रो रही है, picture को देख रही है. Then hastily, jaldi se, she rubbed her eyes and studied it intently. The colors in the dress were so vivid, so clear that she had scarcely noticed the face and head of the drawing. But it looked like her Maddie. It really looked like her own mouth. Why? It really looked like her own self. Wanda had drawn this for her. Excitedly, she ran over to Peggy's. Peg, she said, let me see your picture. What's the matter? Asked Peggy. As they clattered up to her room where Wanda's drawing was lying face down on the bed, face down ऐसे रखी हुई थी, Maddie carefully raised it. Look, she drew you. That's you, she exclaimed. And the head and face of this picture did look like Peggy. What did I say? Said Peggy. She must have really liked us anyway. Yes, she must have, agreed Maddie. And she blinked away the tears that came every time she thought of Wanda standing alone in that sunny spot in the schoolyard, looking stolidly over at the group of laughing girls after she had walked off, after she had said, sure, 100 of them all lined up. तो उस लड़की को वो याद करते हैं और जब वो ड्रेसेस देखते हैं ऐसे ऊपर करके तो एक्चुअली उन्हीं को उसने ड्रॉ भी किया होता है एज इफ उन्होंने वो ड्रेसेस पहनी हुई है हाउ ब्यूटीफुल so this is the end of the chapter number 6 I hope you understood the beautiful chapter and from this chapter I want you to understand that you should be sensitive to people who are new or people who are different from you right. Please don't forget to click the description box for MCQs. Okay? Bye. Have a nice day. I hope you understood it well. Thank you. Okay, so this is the link which you will get in the description box. Okay, I'm going to send this link in the chat box. Look here. Now you can do it. Okay? In the description box, you will get this link. So you can do the MCQs over here. Bye. Have a nice day.